1 or 2. Okay, good. That's fine. I can't see it.
We're live. Hello.
Hello, wait, I'm hosting. This is
holding the wrong book.
I'm holding the wrong book. Hold on. Hello and welcome to the Booksplosion end of the year Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes / superlative live show. So the first half of this live show, we are going to be discussing the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by SUZANNE Collins. And then the second half of this live show, so that will start at 3:30 Pacific, the 30 mark at wherever you are. We are going to be talking about all the books we read this year. We're going to be ranking them. We're going to be doing superlatives. We're going to be asking you to rank like what your favorites and what your rankings are, and all different superlatives like funniest, best protagonist, all this different stuff. It's a super fun live show. So if you have not read Ballad, please come back and chat with us at 3:30 because we'll be interacting a lot with the chat. And we'll be interacting with you now when we talk about the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. There's so much to discuss with this. Like, how are we going to fit into half an hour? I don't know. So we have to start immediately. So get ready. If you have not read it yet, I would just like assume there's going to be spoilers because we only have half an hour. I would even come back at the 30 mark. Okay. Kat, since you read it last, do you want to kick us first? Like the least latest. You had the most general of the thoughts. So you've thought about it for a while. Tell us what you thought about the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
The thing is, it's complicated.
It is. I know.
My immediate thoughts after finishing it were, I just rewatched, I talked about it a little bit in like a reviews type video back in May when I read it. And I remember that as soon as I finished, I tweeted, I was like, I finished the book. And I got so many replies that were like, well, did you like it? Was it worth it? And I couldn't even reply to them. So I was like, I don't know. Like, I have complicated feelings about this. Because like, on one hand, I think SUZANNE Collins is a great writer and storyteller. And there were so many aspects of this that were so interesting. Like, I loved that it was an origin story, not just of Snow, but of the games. And we got to see the games in their early form and like see that evolution of like how we started game 10 and then we get up to game whatever we're at, 74 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was so interesting. And I think that there's so many aspects of this book that are interesting for discussion. But my general takeaway from the book was just like, why does this exist? Yeah. Like, I feel like it added some things to the world, but I just don't know that like this was the book we needed, especially in 2020. I was expecting something different from it. Like when this book was first announced and we heard and a bunch of people reacted in like a why does this book exist kind of way, I was one of those people who was like, not overreact. Like, let's give SUZANNE Collins a shot here. I think she knows what she's doing. I think this is going to surprise us all. And it didn't really. It was just kind of like what I expected from it. Like nothing was really shocking. It was all very interesting, but yeah, I don't know. My feelings are still complicated, and I've been thinking about this for 6 months. So.
Oh,
What about you guys? Yeah.
I'm the same way. I'm pretty mixed on how I feel like after finishing it, but like I went in really skeptical, and I think because I went in so skeptical, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I will say that like I personally enjoyed like the first portion of the book more than like the later half of the book. Like I feel like it would really drag out towards the end. But like I loved like the games part, and like learning about the games, like all the history and stuff that came with it. Like, I loved that aspect. But I also felt like, and I could be wrong because like I'm still kind of sitting with my feelings on this one, but like I didn't feel like we really delved into why Snow is the way that he is now. Like in the Hunger Games trilogy, like I really did. Like I saw little signs here and there and like things that like could add up, but like not. I wanted to delve deeper into that a little bit personally, and I didn't feel like we really delved that deep into why he is the way he is in the Hunger Games trilogy.
It feels like he didn't have much of a transformation. Like he starts off as kind of a shitty person and like by the end he's still a shitty person.
Yeah.
You want me to go? Just you want to go?
Yeah, you go.
Okay. So, like, I feel like the purpose of this book was, like, to do a deep dive into narcissistic personality disorder. Like, that's what's going on. I'm, like, so familiar with it because I have a family member that is steeped in it. And it's, like, it's, like, really triggering because of that. But, like, it was just, like, his thought process and the way he spins stories for himself in his mind to, like, victimize himself. And it's like vomit inducing. Like I just at so many points was like when he was just like, she's mine, and like everything he thought that he was being caring about was really just about him. It was about making himself look good in some way, and it's really scary how, like, knowing that these people are all over the place. These people are in power in our government, like intense have positions to manipulate people, and they're so good at it that you don't realize it. And like someone like Lucy, it took her so long to figure it out. And thank God she did. And I found that Lucy was like one of the saving graces of the book, Lucy and SUZANNE, and without them we wouldn't be able to continue because Snow is such a villain. He is such a horrible person to hear narrate. And I think that's why a lot of people have problems with the book, but like you don't usually see a YA book go into the mind of someone so dark. It's just like not what I think publishers normally want to publish, because you're trying to kind of set a good example. That's why like there's all these kind of restrictions on YA because a lot of young people read it and you want them to like learn good things. But this is a deep dive into someone with a raging narcissist. And I think in that way, it's really fascinating to see the way their mind works, because this is like so accurate to what I've learned throughout the years, and to see it from their perspective is horrifying. Like, and it makes you think about people like, oh my God, is this person like also like this? And I just don't know. I haven't picked up on it yet. Like the lack of empathy is horrifying.
That's what like kind of worries me the most about this book is people reading it and being like taken in by Snow's manipulation. And like people even shipping him with Lucy. And I'm like, no. This is a horror story from Lucy's point of view. This is a tragic horror story.
Yeah. There's so many women who end up like Lucy, but like actually go through with the relationship and then like realize it way deep in, and it's terrible because they're like stuck after that. Like, I'm so glad they didn't end up like getting married, like, and she's not like his pet. Like that's like like people with narcissistic personality disorder, like they view the people in their lives more like their pets, almost like they're objects that make them into like a person that people will like, like it's just the way he thought about Lucy was so scary all the time. I was just like, and he'd think he's doing something good, and occasionally he would do something for her, but it was just because it looks good and makes him less in trouble. Like everything was like, oh, I won't get in trouble if he gets in trouble. Like you think he cares about SUZANNE like a little bit, but he like really doesn't give a shit, and it's horrifying. Yeah. How horrified were you at the end when he turned on that forking jabberjay and then sent a letter to Dr. Gall after all of this?
We're in spoilers now, by the way. We didn't really talk about.
I just like
into the spoilers. So if you have not read this book, come back at 30.
And like I saw someone say like they think that the romance is insta love, and I don't think that. I feel like insta love is something that people like to slap on things. But another thing with narcissists is that like when they find someone that they want to be their person, like they go all out like to try to make them theirs immediately, just to try to like kind of capture them and like get their loyalty. And you hear him talking about it like, oh, she'll never tell she's loyal. I think like he's loyal, like she'll never, all this stuff about like he just wants people who are loyal around them so that they could do whatever they want and use them in whatever ways they want them to. Oh my gosh. It was just like, at the end of all of it, I was just like horrified. But it was fascinating to see the game turn into what they are. And it was like disgusting to see like the people come in, like they bring the kids in like the cattle train, and they don't feed them, and they just dumped them in the zoo with like a literal dump truck. Like and the way that the Capitol views everyone around them like animals, like they're not even people. And I constantly had to stop reading because it was disgusting. Like, and it was disgusting how Snow thinks, and you don't see that change. Like, he almost changes. Like, you're like really being like, hopefully he'll like become a better person, but really he just like goes right back, and he doesn't get there at all. Like, isn't it so scary how like he's like, oh, I love her, and then the next second he's like, she's not a lamb. She killed people in the arena. She said she did it for mercy, but she didn't. Like, it's just.
It's so disturbing, and especially like even by the end, he's still victimizing himself, and he still thinks that he's in the right. Like, even after everything he's done, he's still like, I made the right decision.
Yeah,
and it's horrifying.
Yeah, and I think like the place our country is in is what kind of inspired Suzanne to write this piece, like to really just like open up that perspective and like show it for how dark and scary it is. But it just happened to correlate with 2020, and it happened to be a terrible time for it. It almost should be an adult book because of the themes running through it. And I think that they let her publish it, obviously, and they wanted it to be a kid's book just because the Hunger Games, it's going to sell much more if it's a kid's book. But even Hunger Games in the beginning, it wasn't a kid's book. It's about kids killing each other. Like, it's very, very dark. So yeah, a lot of mixed feelings. Like, I feel like it hurts to read it. It's like, and that's why people are like, why does this exist? And also it's just like, this is not a kid's book. But at the same time, I think she did a really good job with making this horrifying story because we're so passionately thinking about it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big reason why I'm like, why does this exist? Is because I like turning to books for escapism and for, the heroes to win. And this book was just like sent a very depressing, tragic message of the villain won.
Yeah.
And it was just, I didn't want to read that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. It was that kind of thing that I'm torn because, like, on one hand, what she was trying to do was, I think what you said, Christine, was like tell a story about someone with narcissistic personality disorder and like how sort of messed up they are in their heads. I don't know if I would have liked it better if he like had something more that turned him evil, if he was like a good person at one point and like went evil, or if like this is better because like at least they didn't try to humanize this horrible villain. I don't know. It's complicated.
It's so complicated.
I almost think because so with narcissistic personality disorder, it can form a variety of different ways. But one of those ways is having like to care for yourself when you're very young, and at a young age, if you have like no one to like care and love you, and you have to fend for yourself, and you develop this mindset where like the most important thing is you, because no one else is going to take care of you. And obviously that doesn't necessarily mean you get this disorder, but like he did, like telling that story of how they like ate a person, like somebody else ate a person. He watched that happen. Like he was on the streets during the war, and like he's so privileged in comparison to everyone around him. And he manages to like, because of this hard time he went through, like bring it always back to the fact that he struggles more than them, like that his struggles are more important. And like, so I think she did explain it. It's just like really, it's not something like we're used to seeing. Like that's why it's scary, because this happens all the time. like someone who's very privileged, who has parents who are negligent, could easily develop this because like they are lacking the same thing. There's no one like showing them love in the way that they need it. Like his mom sounds like she was actually like a nice lady, which really sucks that she was gone so early. Like, and she was like the one kind of anchor to like humanity. Like he felt empathetic with her like little powder thing. It was really sad.
I do also think it's interesting how Suzanne Collins went in like, and even much darker than the original Hunger Games books. Yeah. And one reason why I think that's interesting is that with the original Hunger Games trilogy, a lot of that was so like commercialized and like popularized to the point where like there was like makeup that was like, look like you're in the Capitol. And they were talking about making like a Hunger Games theme park, and just like, you can't do that with this book because it's so like horrifying. Like Suzanne Collins was like, oh, you want to like treat my original trilogy as like a lighthearted, like, oh, it's a love triangle kind of like empty sort of book. Like, try to do that with this book. You really can't.
Yeah, and like even like the Hunger Games was the same thing. Like the way she was like kind of mirrored our society in the most extreme way to show like we are like this. Like the first instinct is like, let's make a theme park. Like the whole point of the Hunger Games is how we commercialize everything. So yeah, like it's she does a really good job of mirroring like in this really scary way that like, I don't know how to even explain it. Let me look at my notes because I took a lot of notes in the beginning here.
But it's like mirroring society and like the ugly parts of
the ugly parts of our society.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Gall, let's talk about her for a second because she is sick.
Yes.
And it's like a sociopath is like in charge of their like a huge part of their government or traditions or whatever the hell is going on over there. But so like, do you think that she was causing these attacks to basically get more people's eyes on the games? Like, you know how they were attacked in the arena when they were like just going there to see it? And Lucy saves Snow's life. Like, I thought that had her name written all over it. Like, it was almost like she wanted the students involved so that more people care and get involved, so that she could blame it on the districts and further like incentivize the two groups to hate each other, you know? And like that sort of stuff happens all the time. This is why I had to put down the book, because it's like we're in the midst of this in such an intense way. And like I can't read about it too.
Yeah. That's exactly where I was, and this was like back in May. So
yeah. Were there any parts of the book that made you emotional? Like not, it was very emotional and like, oh my God, the anxiety. I have to put this down to away. Yeah. Did you cry or like feel like crying? I get really like, because there were a lot of things that kind of we see how Katniss got to this point. Like Katniss is definitely a descendant of Lucy Gray, is what I got from this book.
I got that Lucy Gray went to District 13 or something.
She sings the same songs that Katniss sings, and so Katniss tells a story about her like great grandparents like going to the hanging tree and stuff. Like it all kind of connected there, and like the fact that she likes the name Katniss, it was just like all these little hints throughout it that I was like writing down. I think it has to be. I feel
it could be because we don't really know anything about Katniss's father. That was one thing in the original trilogy that I thought was going to come up at some point, because like he died in a mysterious accident. I was like, oh, he's definitely still alive, but then that never happened.
But it could have also been like try to incite a rebel sort of thing again. Like we saw that happen, and you know what when he called out and was like, run, and then the Mockingjays picked it up, like they kind of alluded to the fact that it was like 3 notes, and then it reminded me of like the do sort of a thing. And I'm like, is that where this originated? Like this moment, because that's where the song came from, like her and her ex-boyfriend, and all of that lore. So yeah, there's just a lot in there that I was like, this.
There's a comment that just reminded me of the scene that like made me so annoyed. This one right here, the end where Snow lives with Sejanus's parents, even though he is responsible for their son's death, made me sick.
It was vile.
So mad. I was so frustrated.
It was literally like a horror film. It was like the end of a horror film where they come and take their place. It was like kind of reminding me of Us a little bit, like how in the way we're like this doppelganger that's like maybe evil, like comes into their life and just like takes their life. Like that's what Snow did. And it was just like, it was horrifying even before that, when he got him killed and then went back to take his money out of that frame. Like you just wanted that money all along, and you got him killed for his freaking money, and then he took all of his money. That's why he became President Snow. Like, it's just, he's horrifying.
This is one aspect where this is one thing that I was kind of conflicted about when I first read this book, is I was really hoping that we weren't only in Snow's point of view.
Me too.
Like, I almost wish that we could have also been in Lucy's point of view, because I think that would have been fascinating to see her and like how she's taken in with him in the beginning, and she like believes him and believes that, oh, maybe he's a good person, he's helping her. And then like seeing her come out of that, like I would have enjoyed to see that perspective. And not just be with only Snow, because it's such a just depressing message that we're only in Snow's head and that he still comes out on top, and it's just so frustrating.
Yeah.
And the whole time when he was with her in the beginning, like, and helping her, he was like, if I help her, she has a better chance of winning, and then I get a better chance of getting the scholarship that I need to get to this point in power. And then at the end, how horrifying was it? He was like, I hate being in love. I don't want to feel jealous. I don't want to be able to be manipulated by anyone. So I'm going to marry someone who I maybe hate so they can never have that power over me.
Yeah. Is there supposed to be a sequel to this, or is this a standalone?
I feel like it's a standalone.
I haven't heard anything official about a I don't, where else would you go from this?
I don't know, but I thought I remember like when they had like the press release and stuff that it was supposed to be like a duology or something, but I don't want it to be.
If there's another book, I hope it's like follows a different character years. Like, let's see, like Hunger Games 50. Let's see Haymitch's Games or something like that. Yeah. If there's going to be a second book, I feel like we don't need it at this point. We're done.
Yeah, I really feel like this is a standalone.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know what else we could do, even with another book set in the world. Like, we see the beginning of the games, we see the end of the games. Like, we don't really need to see a middle of the games. And there's the whole thing that's like kind of the inherent problem with prequels, in that nothing is surprising because you know how things are going to happen in the end.
It almost, in this book, reading it because we were stuck in Snow's perspective, you were like really hoping he turned a corner, you know, like he got better. And like, even though we know he's President Snow, like there was a part of me that was like, maybe for like a little bit, he's gonna be better.
Did you have any like specific theories? Because one thing that I thought was like, he was going to actually fall in love with Lucy, and like she was going to be killed at the hands of like rebels, or I don't, like he was going to lose her, and he was gonna be angry, and
that was going to change him back. Yeah. But like, the harsh reality is that he already a shithead. Yeah. And it was so scary. That scene when he came out with the gun and he was like, Lucy, like that is a horror scene. Like, that was so scary. And like, he's like, why do I have the gun? But he can't put it down. Like he won't, like, it's just like, he's like, I did it without even thinking about it, which makes it even more disgusting.
So do you guys think that Lucy lived at the end?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know she did. I like it's implied through the music. Like that's why we see these songs. So when she sang that Rue song to the little girl, I started crying because that was like my confirmation that she is like Katniss's great grandmother or something, or grandma. You know, like we never get to see her extended family because they're in such a shitty, like they have to live in such shitty conditions. They probably didn't live, like have a great chance to live that long. But we don't really know. But like, okay, so this is what I really like about it though. We kind of get this like, I don't know why I want to say like, what is this called when you have one of these? Telescope view, but that's not really what I like. Back into why like Snow is so haunted by Katniss, because like he sees her sing that song at the games, and she's from District 12. Like it must be bringing back so many of these feelings that he just hates, that he never wants to think about again. And all of a sudden, he's thinking about Lucy, and he's thinking about like, are they related? Because she's singing this song, and then she sings the Hanging Tree song, which is like kind of like, you know, it's like the lore of District 12, but like Katniss sings it on that propo in Mockingjay, you know, like, and she sings it because her dad used to sing it because that was a song that his mom used to sing to him. So like, it's all like they're haunting him throughout the whole Hunger Games series. And then the Mockingjay pin, I loved how much he hates them, like automatically, because they're against the system, and how much we know that District 12 likes them because they like beat the government. Like Mockingjays were like a symbol of like the rebellion before even Katniss exists, and then that's her symbol. That's what she is from the beginning. Like her dress is a Mockingjay. So it's just like all of this has been pissing him off throughout the whole thing.
I have mixed feelings about that, only for the fact that I kind of liked the idea that like Katniss was a sort of a nobody and she just sort of like became the symbol. Like when we find out that she has all these deeper connections to Snow, it changes my perspective on the Hunger Games more, rather than her just being like this girl who's like thrust into this position. Like the fact that it feels a little more like, oh, it was always her destiny now because like she's a descendant.
Well, it's like this hidden destiny though, that because like he hid all that.
Never knows it. Yeah. So I don't know how I feel about that though.
She is just girl, but she just happens to be connected, and that's what makes it like really spooky for him, I think. Poetic when she kills him. She does. But there was something else I want to talk about. Okay, how fucked up is it that Lucy was sent to the Hunger Games because her ex-boyfriend was cheating on her with the governor's daughter?
Yeah.
She literally
that's just one of many of fucked up things in this book. Like,
Exactly.
how fucked up is it? Oh my god, I loved learning actually why the principal, or what was his name? Like, I wrote it down.
Dean
Heavensby? Highbottom. Dean Highbottom. How he's like a morphling addict, and the reason he started doing morphling was because it was their assignment to think of the coolest punishment they could, and he thought of one drunk, and then Snow was his partner and wanted the grade and handed it in, even though he did it as a joke and he thought it was vile the next morning. Like, and they ran with it for 10 years and with him at the head of it. Like, that's horrifying. Yeah, and the fact that he like gave Lucy some money, and like Snow was like, why would he give her money? It's because he hates this and he feels terrible all the time, probably. But he'll be killed if he does anything about it, probably. Yeah. It's messed up. And it's just kind of like, there's so many, like, it just goes to show like Snow's dad was probably just like him.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Ugh.
Did you ever learn how his parents died?
In the war, his dad died. I feel like his mom also died.
it doesn't really go into too much detail about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about time we stop talking about spoilers, though, in case anyone comes back.
Do we want to talk about our next Booksplosion book of the month?
Yes, our January book of the month. Oh yeah, Tigress. We never talked about her.
Oh
But
yeah.
I'm sure she's estranged from him because he turned into a monster. Like,
Also, Tigress she shows up in the Hunger Games trilogy.
yeah, she's the one with the coats. Yeah. Yeah, and she's like just very sad lady. Like, because
that was one thing that I did enjoy, the perspective of, we do see people in the Capitol who aren't horrible villains and who are like,
they're just a product of their environment.
Yeah, and do have pieces of good in them too, and like don't want to be in the positions they are, but it's still in this happy situation.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk about January book of the month.
It's Lure by Alexander Bracken.
I don't have a copy yet.
It comes out on January 7th.
Oh, I thought it was the 5th.
January 5th.
Yeah. It comes out January 5th. Jesse, can you tell us what it's about? Because I need a voice break. Kat, can you tell us what it's about?
Can you talk about that?
It delves into Greek mythology. I don't have the copy in front of me, so I can't even reference it.
So it's Greek. It's like the Greek gods in a big like game showdown. I feel like almost right. It's a very exciting book. I
just know the Greek part, the Greek mythology part.
I haven't read the synopsis. I just heard Alex talking about it, and I was like, "Ooh, intrigued."
Here's the deal. We love Alexander Bracken's books, which is why we were excited to read this one, which is why we're interested in picking it up in the first place. So
it's a brilliant and breathless twist on classic mythology. And it takes place like in contemporary times. So it's like in the now.
Yeah.
And it's a standalone.
Alexander Bracken is one of those authors that I really trust because I've loved a lot of her books. So that's why I'm really excited to get into this one. So
yeah,
you should pick it up in January and read it with us. Our live show will be at the end of the month. We don't have a date yet, but we will get back to you guys on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also why I don't know exactly what it's about because I like going into books that I know I'm gonna like with nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're about to move into our superlative. Oh my God, sweat stains. Our superlative part of the show, which is very exciting. We're going to I think the first thing we're going to do is rank all of our Booksplosion books of the year from least favorite to favorite. And we would love you guys to do it too. You can just pick your tops if you want. You can wait for us to do it if you don't remember all the books and then rank them.
Should we do a run through of
sure.
What was January, what was February, what was okay.
January.
We read Reverie by Ryan LaSala. In
February
we read Wait, which one? Did I read them wrong? In March, we read
Chain of Gold. April, we read The June Boys by Court Stevens.
In May, we read We Are the Wildcats by Siobhan Vivian.
Jesse, you want to do June?
In June, we read You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson.
In July, we read The Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds.
In August, we read, oh man, is this the one book I don't have? This is the book I don't have because no, not Warcross. Oh wait, I thought it was Lost Book of White.
No, that was September.
Oh, okay. And then we read Warcross by Maria Lil.
And what month are we on?
September.
Apparently.
We read Lost Book of the White by Cassandra Clare and What We Do.
In October, we read the one that I don't have with me, The Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas.
In November, last month, we read The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi.
And then, of course, in December, we read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yes. Okay, so we are going to be ranking them from favorite to from least favorite and going all the way up to favorite. And before we start, we are each going to take bets on what we think the other's number one is going to be.
It's gonna be easy for you guys.
So, Kat, I'm going to guess for you it was Wayward Son.
Hey, that's my guess.
Wow, what a guess.
My guess for Christine is Chain of Gold.
You know?
What's your guess?
It's a little bit tricky.
It is a little tricky. I'm in between two.
I don't even know where to start.
I love being the complicated child.
I don't know. I actually am in between three.
I'm going to guess The Opposite of Always.
That's what, okay. I'll guess the other one because you guessed that one. I'll guess The Cemetery Boys, but I feel like it might be The Opposite of Always. Okay.
What if it's gonna be like Chain of Gold or something?
Yeah. That's the last two on his list.
Hey, Jesse, will you tell us if either of us got it right?
Well, wait till we get to
Okay, let's start with the ranking.
Okay.
So we start.
So our
Diary from the bottom.
Our least favorite book of our Booksplosions this year.
For me, it's Reverie by.
It's Reverie.
For me, it was We Are the Wildcats.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, I thought we were all going to match for a second. I got so excited.
I'm surprised that you guys ranked Reverie so low. I thought that one was a lot of fun. Like, the reason this one's so low for me is just because it doesn't, like, stick with me much. Like, I had a fine time reading it, but it's not the kind of thing I would reread or anything.
I just needed the world to be a little bit more grounded in Reverie.
Yeah, that's exactly what, for me, I just felt like I was floating around kind of confused the whole time, so I couldn't really rank it any higher.
Yeah. Okay, next for me is We Are the Wildcats.
June Boys.
Oh.
Gilded Wolves.
Gilded Wolves. Yeah, I don't have much to say.
So I had the same sort of like, I just wanted to feel more grounded in the magic system and the Gilded Wolves. I love the characters, but like ultimately I need it to feel grounded to feel like solid in the book.
Yeah. For this one, this is more of a case of genre. Like, I don't really click too much with like thrillers and mysteries. They're usually like one and done type books. So much like We Are the Wildcats. I read this, I enjoyed it. I did like the twist at the end, but it's not something that like sticks with me.
Gotcha.
Cool. Okay, so this is our 10 on our list of 12.
Yeah. The Gilded Wolves for me.
Reverie.
We Are the Wildcats. We're just rotating around.
I know, we really are just rotating.
I actually like, I really related to some of the girls in the Wildcats because I'm just like gave me a lot of high school flashbacks, so that's why it's higher than the other two. And I like, yeah, there could have been more to this book, but I related to it a lot. You guys have any?
For me, I loved the characters in this one, and I'm definitely going to continue on with the series, but I just, like Christine said, just the world needed a lot more like structure. It just needed more grounding. Yes.
Yeah. And same what you guys said for this one, except I enjoyed it a little bit more. Cause like I thought it was really fun and creative. Just the world, I couldn't follow all the rules for it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 9. For me, it's the June Boys.
Ooh. Okay, for me, it's the opposite of always.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I really like the characters in this, but like ultimately it was kind of sad. And ultimately it was just like, I think I've just seen too many, like once you start seeing the same sort of trope at the same time, you start just not like being as invested in the next story you read with it. And I had just read something similar, so I just wasn't as invested in the story because I was like, oh, I just read something like this. You used to just take those apart. It's just like when I read Champion, like I wish I read that like a year later.
I don't really have anything bad to say about this one. Like I really enjoyed it overall.
Yeah, it's just like further down.
It was like an okay book, you know, like it just, yeah, like it's a good book, but that's about it. So.
Yeah, this was really good. Like it's just like in your brain, you can't like
kick it out necessarily. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me with Gilded Wolves, so it's the same thing you guys said. Love the characters, but the world, I did not feel grounded in it.
Okay, we are at number 8 on the countdown.
The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Hey, me too!
Oh.
The June Boys for you.
The June Boys for me. I actually enjoyed this story. I could have enjoyed it more if I was like more invested in the characters, but like just the concept. I enjoy myself a mystery thriller. And I like how it like ultimately started to come together the further we got in the book.
For me, this one is just mixed feeling. I just have so many mixed feelings on it, so that's why it's number 9.
Yeah, same.
Or I guess that was number 8. Okay, number
Yes,
7.
we are at 7.
Okay. For me, it is Opposite of Always.
Nice.
Oh, man!
For me, it is You Should See Me in a Crown. Like, I really enjoyed this. It's just like I enjoyed the other books that are higher more. This is super fun.
Same, we're getting that area where it's like, I just enjoyed it less than the ones that I liked more.
Yeah.
Same for me for Warcross. I enjoyed it. Everything was kind of expected. Like I was hoping for more of like a plot twist punch to it. But still really enjoyed it.
Okay, we are at number 6 on our countdown to 1.
Number 6 for me is Cemetery Boys.
Wow, what is your number 1, Jesse?
You know, what the heck? The Chain of Gold.
Chain of Gold has gotta be gold.
We were just trying to be different from our picks, but our picks were the best one.
I really enjoyed this one. Again, just not as much as the other ones on my list. So it was a really fun adventure, and I definitely want like more from this world and these characters. But I don't know if we'll get that or not. But yeah.
Kat?
I really enjoyed this one. It was super cute and fun. And I think like I can't wait to read more by this author. This was her debut novel, so like I'm excited to read more from her.
I think this was like, again, this has so many mixed feelings because you just want to like vomit the whole time. But I think it was just a very fascinating deep dive into the Hunger Games. And I think it was well written. I just think it was like really too dark for this year. Like it was not the time.
Read room.
I couldn't bear to read it when I was reading it in June. Like I literally got anxious and could not sleep after reading like 10 pages at a time. Okay, we are at 5. We're almost there. We're more than halfway through. So this is the top 5. Go ahead, Jessica.
5 for me, The Lost Book of the White.
Nice.
Yes. Christine?
I don't have this book, but my 5 is The Cemetery Boys.
Nice.
I don't have this book either, but my 5 is The Lost Book of the White.
Nice. Yeah. Cemetery Boys was great. I just like the other books better. Yeah.
Yeah, The Lost Book of the White was fun. I liked being in Shanghai. Love these characters, obviously. Again, just don't love it as much as the other ones. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, number 4.
Number 4.
4.
Mine is The Opposite of Always. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was super funny. I loved the voice so much. Like it was just the narrator was so funny and like I could connect with him so much because he was just like a very grounding presence. Yeah, really enjoyed this.
Yeah, I like his voice.
I remember the parents being really great in that one too.
Yeah, the parents was great. The humor was great. The storyline was great. I had a great time.
For me, it's Warcross.
Nice. Number 4. And my number 4 is The Lost Book of White. I had just like a ball reading this book. I was so pleasantly surprised. I was really expecting it just to be like Magnus and Alec, and then everyone was there, and I was like, oh my god, this is the best.
Okay, we are on to number 3.
Oh my god, top 3.
Done by Rainbow Rowell. Number 3.
Mine is Cemetery Boys.
Nice.
Mine is Warcross. Yes, I read Warcross like back when it first came out, and I just had so much fun with this romance, like shipping Theo and Amika real hard.
We're on number 2. Oh man.
You guys, top 2. And okay, while we're doing the top 2, try to think of what your favorite of the year was and put it in the chat so like we could see overall what your guys' favorite was.
Is Kat's face frozen for you too?
No, that's just my
holding your face.
I'm waiting for you.
Literally.
I'm waiting for you, Jesse, to say your book.
Oh, I'm gonna go last on this round, so you guys go.
Number 2 book was Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare.
Mine was Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell.
Wait, can you guess what book it is by the sound of me tapping on it?
No.
No, I don't even know which one you haven't.
Can you guess?
I don't remember Gold.
Chain of Gold is number 2 on my list.
Oh, number 1. I don't even know what Wayward Son.
Yeah. Okay, so that means my number 1.
Wayward Son.
No, I already said Wayward Son.
Is it You to See Me in a Crown?
You to See Me in a Crown is my number 1. It was so good. I loved it so much.
Hey, that was my other one that I was thinking about, but completely dropped because I thought you liked Cemetery Boys better.
Oh, I love this one so much. It's my favorite. I love it. made me so happy. Just like thinking about it is making me happy.
Oh, that's the number one. Okay. It's like, okay. My number one. Oh, wait. My number one.
Oh, big surprise. Oh wow, you guys, you just shook me to the core with these.
Okay, so in the chat we have Chain of Gold coming up. Oh, the Gilded Wolves number one, Chain of Gold, Warcross, Chain of Gold, Wayward Sun, You Should See Me in a Crown, Chain of Gold, Warcross. Okay, cool.
Wayward Son was a reread for me. I read it last year for the first time. And it wasn't even my favorite book of last year. There were a couple that I liked more than this. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now we're going to do a couple superlatives. If you have any superlatives you'd like us to do, throw them in the chat. I'm going to kick us off and be with a favorite protagonist and least favorite protagonist of the year, guys. I think we know who the least favorite protagonist is going to fucking be. And that is Coriolanus Snow. Let me throw you in a ditch and set you on fire.
Oh man, favorite is wait, actually I do have a favorite. I think my favorite is
here. Should we reveal at the same time what book our favorites from?
Yep. Kat, why are you my favorite protagonist is actually from what is Jesse Blackthorne considered a protagonist?
Yeah, he's a protagonist.
I think he's kind of more of a side character though.
I mean, he isn't a main protagonist, but he's there.
He's my favorite. I need to know more about him too. Like I want more from that story.
I want to know more about him too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Mine is James Herondale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, I'm not choosing one of them because I love something about both.
You have to choose, so only
I don't have to choose because they're both point of view characters, so it's fine. Also, we get Penny as well, and Penny is a great. I mean, I guess she's not a protagonist, but yeah,
she's a protagonist.
Yeah.
Penny, she's got point of views.
Yeah, but a protagonist is usually one character.
Yeah, but we're given liberty here because we're characters. Okay. Let's do favorite book cover of the year I saw pop up. Do you want to do favorite book cover?
I do.
Oh, I know what mine is.
I don't want to play this game anymore.
I love the Gilded Wolves cover. It's so pretty.
This cover is so pretty too.
This cover is so pretty. Look at it.
And your guys' choices are very typical. Mine is not. So
okay, let's do favorite.
I'm gonna let the other girls.
Let's do favorite ship.
Favorite ship.
I don't want to play this game anymore.
I don't really have a favorite ship. I mean, this ship was pretty wholesome, so I guess I'll be cliche and go with the ship.
Okay, best villain. Let's do best villain. I'm trying to think of like other villains.
I don't know. I mean,
I can only think of like Surfer Dude God. Is it Asmodeus in this one? No, it's a different one. Is it Asmodeus? Is it Asmodeus?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, he was an interesting dude to be our villain.
I mean, this was kind of an interesting villain.
It was.
Yeah, it was a little unexpected, kind of.
Yeah.
I have two kind of. From Chain of Gold. What's the girl's name?
Grace Blackthorne.
Oh, I forgot about her.
I hate her. I hate her so much that I can't even.
Interesting, but I feel like we're gonna get more to her character in the coming books. Yeah. And then the other villain I want to kind of shout out is the one from Reverie.
Drag queen, right?
Our fabulous drag queen villain.
Yeah, he was great.
Interesting and fun character, like not just villain.
That was my favorite aspect of that book. Was the villain.
Yeah, that villain was fantastic. Yeah. We can't forget the real villain here, Tatiana fucking Blackthorne, who who made Grace what she was.
Yeah, she's like but she's just like pure bad. Like I think Grace is interesting because I think there's more to her.
I feel like Tatiana is more interesting. I feel like Grace is pure bad. That bitch is manipulating people. I don't know. I feel like
Grace has also been raised by Tatiana. Like
I know, and Tatiana is like she's like one of those people that are so damaged that they get so mean, because they were already mean, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm the victim and everything." Yeah, I hate her.
I like this one. Favorite setting? We have a favorite. I know mine.
I know mine.
I loved the Warcross setting.
Oh, I love that too.
So fun. And Japan and the game, and it was just.
I really love being in London in 1907. I think it is. It's just like, I love all the dresses and the parks and the walking and the outings.
Yeah, I'm gonna give both of you guys valid points for your choices. But I'm gonna shout out Cemetery Boys.
Nice.
Because like even though it's set in the modern day, just the setting of like the graveyard and the just all the atmosphere of that, I really enjoyed that aspect.
Okay, let's do the saddest read of the book of the year.
I even feel like there's kind of two that could go for this.
Yeah,
it's definitely this one for me.
Oh, interesting. I was gonna say
that is like actually like sad. This is like upsetting sad. Like
yeah, different kinds of sad.
It's sad in an interesting way because it's just.
This is like overarching depressing.
Yeah.
That's like sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to do like favorite writing style. This is favorite author of the year, but we could do like the favorite writing style.
Yeah, favorite writing style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I really love Marie Lu's writing style.
I do too. I think
highlights is like so cinematic and just really like just so great.
It's just like hard because I love this so much that I did it genuinely my favorite.
How about this? Other than Cassandra Clare, other than Rainbow Rowell, what's your choice next to that?
I love the voice so much. It was so funny and just such a good time.
Yeah.
I'll pick Warcross if I'm not going to pick Cassie because I did really love her action sequences in this. Like I was completely captivated.
Yeah.
Oh, coziest read. Let's do coziest read. Bless you. This was my coziest read.
Cozy read. I feel like for me, it's actually Chain of Gold. I feel like this is so cozy because it's just so familiar and like I'm just used. Like it's just so nice, like being back in this world when I read it. I'm just so comfortable. So cozy.
From me, I'm like, no.
And I agree with your guys' choices. I give you points, valid points for those. I'm gonna say you should see me in a crown though, just because it was so fun and cute, and I just had such an enjoyable time reading it. I again agree with what you guys chose as well.
Right.
Because those books definitely were that same thing for me, as like a comforting kind of thing.
I like this one. Favorite book discussion and then favorite Dear Booksplosion episode that we did.
Okay, I'm gonna go to our page so you like take a look at them.
Well, I have a favorite Dear Booksplosion that we did anyways, and that was the Bookish game show because it was so fun seeing you guys.
That was really fun.
I love that one.
Favorite book discussion though?
I'm trying to think. Like I feel like our book discussions like exit my brain so quickly afterward because it's like I feel like the Lost Book of White was really fun.
Yeah.
I feel like we had a fun one for Chain of Gold too, though. Like we had a lot of fun questions in that live show. Like we played some games. We were like, guess this character, or like guess that quote or whatever, which is really fun.
Oh yeah, like that live show. I can't remember it at all because I spent so much time editing my own book talking about it.
I remember that.
I can't remember it. But like we had fun in a lot of our live shows, and I can't remember which ones they were.
Yeah, I do remember there was one live show that we came out of and we were like, that was a really good live show. But for me, I can't remember which
one was it. I know. I feel the same way. Like, I can't remember which one it was. I feel like the pros and cons of cons was a really fun Booksplosion this year. Oh, resolutions and aging, wasn't that really fun?
I have a good time with all of our dear Booksplosion shows.
Yeah.
It's fun to just like hang out and chat about whatever.
Yeah, but like some of them really stood out, I feel like, and I can't remember which one.
I liked the writing one.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
That was a fun one.
You know what I really loved last year are holiday stories and traditions. I feel like we had a lot of fun in that live show.
Yeah.
Do we want to do? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I was just saying, YouTube embarrasses me. That was a good one. Okay, go ahead, Jesse. What were you gonna say?
Funniest book of the year.
Yeah, funniest book of the year.
Oh, this is hard.
And if you're gonna pick your cliche ones, you gotta pick one to go along with it.
Okay, I just want to let you know that this was the funniest book of the year.
I'm gonna go with Wayward Son because I just love their.
I know, that's my second funniest.
It's so funny and so good.
Yes.
I guess this, but like Chain of Gold and Wayward Son are also up there. Like they're so fun and funny.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Ooh, this one's good. The book you most wanted to see turn into a movie or TV show.
Ooh, you know what I think would be? This is being turned into something, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm too. It's like it's made to be something.
Yeah, I can see it so perfectly as a Netflix movie along the lines of the Jump On.
Yes.
Like,
this would be so good.
And like this would be perfect in that like teen rom-com kind of. It'd just be great.
Right.
Okay, well, aside from we all chose this one. Do we have any aside from that we think would be great?
I feel like Cemetery Boys. Cemetery.
Oh yeah, I picked that one too. I just don't have that in front of me. Damn it! I could have picked that for other ones.
I agree with Warcross too, though. I want something with that.
Warcross is iffy, like because a lot of times they mess up video game based things.
I think it has to be animated. Like I feel like if it's not animated,
they'll mess it up. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, any other superlatives you want us to squeeze in? We can fit in like probably two more.
Also, I've seen people asking what the next Booksplosion book of the month is. It's Laura Andrew Bracken coming out January 5th. Right.
We're very excited about it. Okay. Oh, let's do you want to do like your book like boyfriend or girlfriend of the year of the books that we've read, like the favorite person in a ship? Oh, I know what Kat's gonna pick already. Do you? Do you know mine?
Do you?
I'm just picking James Herondale. Oh wait. Oh. Yeah, James.
Who do you think mine is?
Is it Baz?
No.
Simon and Baz together. That's what I was gonna say first.
No, their ship is too perfect. I don't want to. I wouldn't.
You don't want to ruin it. You know.
Okay, this is Will Herondale.
No, I would pick Will too. I was just picking protagonists.
I don't care about protagonists. I like older Will Herondale.
Fine, I love older Will Herondale too.
You don't love him more than I do.
Yes.
Can we do this with our top 3 faves? Rewrite, reread.
Our top 3 faves or any of them?
The top 3 faves, I think, because we would just go to our least favorite list. Okay, Jimmy and the Crown, Chain of Gold, and Wayward Son. Okay.
I don't want to play this game. I don't want to play my top 3 faves.
Okay, let's see.
I don't want to rewrite anything.
I don't like this game.
I can't do this. We can't burn it.
I don't want
Well, I'm gonna play then. Let's see.
You go ahead.
What are you gonna
What
burn?
are you
I'm
burning?
going to burn. Wayward son, you've been burned. I'm going to rewrite Channel Gold, and I'm going to reread You Should See Me in a Crowd.
Fight us.
You're just messing with us now at this
You're
point.
being controversial and inciting anger.
All right, it is time for us to come to a close.
No, hey, wait. I'm hosting today. I will wrap us up when I'm ready. Okay, we're doing one last real one. Best friendship.
Best friendship. Oh my god.
Thank you for giving us this best friendship one.
The talent of Jesse being mean.
Oh.
I can't remember the names.
Julian.
Julian, I remember him, but who was his best friend in this book? I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember either. It's that girl, right?
Yeah.
I can remember her name.
Maritza.
Yes. That friendship. Sorry, I should have remembered their names, but
I love the friendship between Penny and Simon and Baz.
Mm-hmm.
And also the new kid that comes. I forget his name.
Yeah, I love their friendship. I especially like seeing Penny and Baz's friendship in this book. I thought it was really nice.
Yes. I need to read it again to like remember all the funny lines, but there were so many. It was so good. I love them talking about ketchup. I can't remember what it was, but it was like Penny and the new guy that I ship her with. And like they were really funny.
Shepherd.
all right.
His name is Shepherd.
Okay, you guys. So that was our 2020 End of the Booksplosion Year live show. We're going to be reading Lore in January, so please pick it up and join us. It comes out January 5th. It's by Alexandra Bracken. It's going to be great because Alexandra Bracken is amazing, and I love everything she writes. It's been getting fantastic reviews thus far, and I love spins on Greek mythology. If you've read Percy Jackson, you probably do too. It's going to be fabulous. Yeah, I can't believe we're at the end of 2020. This is like,
Yeah.
it was long and short at the same time. Good riddance.
Bye, 2020.
Thank you guys so much for joining us for our live show and joining us for reading throughout the year. Like, it means a lot. We'd love to tweet us if you were here, like your top 3 books of the year. We'd love to know which ones you enjoyed the most. And yeah, that'll help guide us next year. I feel like I was running up the genres of our list. We read like a lot of fantasy, like a couple contemporaries and like a couple thrillers. Didn't really feel like thrillers, but like true crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, so kicking off next year with mythology fantasy. It's gonna be a time. Happy holidays, everyone. Happy goodbye 2020.
Bye, guys.
Bye.